Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Hello there. Welcome back.
Welcome back, guys. As always, thank you for our Patreons that keep us going. We couldn't do it without your support.
We do appreciate it deeply, immensely, and just full of gratitude. Thank you.
Every video goes up on Patreon. And as far as YouTube goes, we'll be doing one tomorrow for Heart's Ohm. And Heart's Ohm is the newest channel, and that's basically all spirituality and also uplifting music and meditation, mantras, just all the positive without not any of the news.
I know it's sometimes just what people need. That's all.
Yeah, absolutely. So come and join us over there if you haven't yet. And I just wanted to bring this up, which we've talked about before in numerous videos, but one thing that we are seeing more and more often is a lot of, to us, misconceptions about the Galactic Federation. So this is Jay Anderson from Project Unity. Why do you think Colonel Carl Nell, personally validated former Israeli space security chief Haim Eshed, at the SALT conference? Haim Eshed claims there is a Galactic Federation, that elements of the U.S. government are aware of and interacting with it, and that Trump knows about this. And in fact, if you go into some of the articles, Trump was supposedly going to reveal all this. Now, I do remember so clearly when Trump first sat down and was briefed on coming in to the presidency. You know, I think that you hear rumors and you know certain things. You know. But when you're told some things, or when you're told the level of these things that have been kind of speculative or rumors, insider information, and you get it as it's a big fact. I mean, he looked like he had seen a ghost when he first, we had talked about this many times. If you could find the first time he sits down in the White House with Obama, and he's going to be taking over. And, I mean, he looks shaken. I mean, terrified, really. He looks so uncomfortable. Maybe it's just, being on the spot. And when you're going to be on the spot for 4 years, you got to put on the performance of your lifetime every day for 4 years. Or maybe it's just he didn't know how deep the reality of extraterrestrial control was, and then you get told the truth, and it makes you do what Joe Biden does every day: poop your pants.
Yeah. Well, his reaction to me was, personally, in my opinion, his reaction was that of true trauma. It's something that we go through in life, and I'm sure you guys have all been through it to a degree, where you hear whispers of something that's not so good. But then you find out about this thing, and you find out it's real and it's true. And it's like throwing a wrench into the mind. It's like throwing a huge wrench into the processing. It's like you have to stop, and you have to back up, and you have to reprocess. And that takes a minute. And that's where all the gears come to like a full stop for a moment. And that's that moment. That's what we saw. We saw his gears grinding to a halt, like, what do I do with this? And sitting with that for a while. So yeah, there's definitely trauma there when you find these things out firsthand. It's not easy.
Yeah. So yeah, that really stood out for me in particular. Israel, as we've talked about, is a direct link to what we would call the Gigi and the Anunnaki and the Draconian control grid. In fact, as we've said many times, the leadership, the control grid from on this planet really comes from Mars. It literally does, and that's even what's stated in the Sumerian texts. And when we look again at the Talmud, it's not about life after death philosophy. It's not about heaven and hell. No. It's about don't forget who you are as a tribe, as a group of people. And when we look to Israel, if they are going to be in connection with certain entities that are non-terrestrial, it's not going to be the Galactic Federation. Just plain and simple. It's not going to be. It says the U.S. and Israel have been working with the Galactic Federation of aliens in recent years. Now there's Galactic Federation of Light that's popped up, Galactic Federation of Worlds, of Planets. They keep popping up with new little Galactic Federations of. We only know it as the Galactic Federation itself, and I know that it should be pretty obvious right now, and I think it is for a lot of you guys, that part of the big plan with the control system is going to be to introduce to you some of the actual controllers, which have been really running the show from behind the scenes and saying, this is your Galactic Federation. And no, it's not going to be the Galactic Federation. Because, again, the Galactic Federation, for the most part, is on 5D and above. So we wouldn't perceive them as we are going to perceive the ones that are introduced to us by the governments of the world, because that is part of their big plan.
I think in my experience working with the Galactic Federation and having a contact, their primary interest is about our evolution and watching us and helping us and assisting us in whatever way possible to walk through all of the things that we're up against. Because as a human species, we are up against way too much, in my opinion, just way too much. And it really feels like it's an uneven playing field. And I've talked to some of you about that too, because we can look and see what we're up against, and it definitely is not fair. With the Galactic Federation, they're not going to step in front of anyone's human journey. One of the primary universal laws they go by is called non-interference. So that means they're not going to come down here and say we are aliens from 5D outer space and we're here to help you. That's not going to happen. That would definitely break that huge, and it's a big law. It's one of the primary laws that I work with when I do readings, when I work with past loved ones. It's like non-interference, unless, and there's a few unlesses there, unless you are off your path, unless you are in a lot of trouble and it's not your time to go, then someone can come down and step in front of you and say, hey, you need to go in this direction. You've taken a wrong turn. This should not have happened. But that is super rare, but it does happen. And I've seen it happen. So they are here to help us with our evolution and help us overcome without interfering. That's the thing. We have to grow on our own. We have to step up and above on our own as parents that watch children, or fur mommies and daddies who have your puppies. There's certain things that they have to do on their own so that they get it and they understand, and then they're growing at an appropriate rate, and their growth is not stunted. And really, we see this in our children. There's just certain things that you cannot do for them, and if you do too much for them, they're not growing, and you're not helping them survive in this world. So I hope that makes sense, and I hope people understand that they're not here to fight wars for us. They are here to walk with us, but not do it for us.
Absolutely. So when we see some things that they've put out there, it just makes it so clear what their plan is. And I don't think this is going to happen until after the war period, which may last a while. Some are seeing this war period lasting maybe relatively similar to World War II. You have Haim Eshed, who, again, he led the Israeli space security program for nearly 30 years. He said the U.S. and Israel have been working with the Galactic Federation to create an underground base on Mars. Okay, well, no, that would be the draconian power structure, the draconian Anunnakian Igigi structure, which is actually controlled by AI. This is an AI that was not created on Earth. It was in in existence way before the Earth ever was created out of the remnants of Tiamat, and was in fact created by the Draco, which then were enslaved by their own AI system. So what are they getting us ready for? They're getting ready to introduce us to the real controllers. We're going back in some ways to the past, where you had all those photos of the Anunnaki giants here, and the humans, chained together in obvious slavery and servitude. And here they're going to introduce them again after a period of trial and tribulation. They're going to be dangling carrots, trying to bait people into their technology, because what they want to do is implant the technology in you and literally keep you going, so they can use the energy of your source spark. And each one of us we are all fractals of the one source, and the energy from that source is within us. The energy from the slaves of the AI system gets drained from them and is taken into the AI system. Very much like a vampire. When you think of a vampire, the vampire is kind of a semi-eternal being, except for the fact that when it dies, there's nothing. There's nothing. And that's really what we see with those beings that have given into this AI system. It's like all their life force, all their source energy is taken from them, and it's taken into the AI system. And so when they die, it's not like their soul moves on like anybody else, has a period of introspection, and then plans what it wants to do next. It's like that source spark has been assimilated by the AI. That is their ultimate goal. They want your source spark, and you could just say, they want your soul. They literally want your soul. It's not about just this existence, this short temporary human existence. No, they want to control your energy forever.
Taking your free will is what they want to do, and they can do that if you're dependent on things that they might have, or if you need something that they might have, which isn't, to me, it's just not a nice way to play, because they're not handing things out to be helpful. They're not giving out things to make people's lives more enjoyable. They're only giving the technologies they're giving so that they can ultimately control. It's like an abusive parent that buys their kids these really cool toys, and then the second the kid does anything, like steps out of line the slightest little way, yanking that toy, and I'm going to put it up here on the fridge where you can see at it and suffer. We can look at it and suffer. It's just not a nice way to do things. We're here to express ourselves. We're here to expand. We're not here to be their little batteries and their power sources. We're not here to do that.
No, and the reality is, there are bases on Mars already, and yes, they are peopled with both human or humanoid and also reptilian beings, and so Mars is still being worked just like it has been for eons. So this is, the big plan going forward, and of course, those that are posing as the Galactic Federation but are really the Draconian Anunnaki and the GGAI group that has been secretly controlling humanity from a distance will probably say that there is a bad group coming and they're going to take over and we must get ready to fight them. And so by doing so, what they do is they're going to be again preparing for war with the real Galactic Federation, which again is not going to show up in massive ships and blow away the Draconians, because they're just different. They're of a different order, and to get up into that 5D reality and higher, you have to let go of all the lower frequencies. So, you're not looking out for vengeance or anything like that. You're of a different mindset and frequency. And your idea from that perspective of freeing humanity is showing humanity what it can do so it can also ascend up into the higher densities where these lower entities cannot go.
Yes, that's how I see it. I see something of an example and giving us an example, not beings coming down here to fight and blow up other beings. That's just not what I have seen with them, and it's not what I work with, and it's not the information that I get, and it's not the energy that I feel, not this fighting energy, not unless it has something to do with protection. If they are protecting the innocent, that's different.
So what you have is a prepping of people for contact and for disclosure, and yet it's absolutely with a twist, because what they want you to do is to openly accept those that have been oppressing humanity and the earth from the shadows. And many will choose to do that. Again, they'll offer at that point in time things like your med beds, all sorts of life extension, cures for cancer, which again, everything is in nature, and cures for all the problems that they've created in the first place, as long as you accept them. And again, this is all part of the bigger control grid that's underway. But this is one of their last cards before things really do split, and we're often in totally separate directions. Those that are on the Ascension path and those that are going to be repeating 3D or lower 4D for a long time.
When it comes to technologies, there are technologies out there that are good, that are pure, that are made from source love, and you will feel them. You shouldn't ever have to give a piece of yourself to get something else. You should never ever have to sacrifice something of yourself to get something from source. It should be freely given. It should be something that you just tap into, that no one is having control over, something that is just going to simply make your life better and bring you up in consciousness.
The other part you can see here is it says in December 2020, Eshed claimed in an interview that the United States government had been in contact with extraterrestrial life for years. Many people have claimed that, and had signed secret agreements. Many people have claimed that too, with a Galactic Federation. Okay, that's the little different part there. In order to perform experiments on Earth, the Galactic Federation's not interested in performing experiments on Earth. The Earth wouldn't really be here as it is now if it wasn't for help from the Galactic Federation and the coming together of the Galactic Federation when it was destroyed as Tiamat by the Draconian AI fallen Anunnaki group.
Yeah, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of information out there that's going to, look weird and sound weird, but this is the information that we get firsthand, the information that we give you, that we channel and we have experience with. So anything that is coming from our government, I wouldn't exactly trust it any more than, trust it now any more than you've been able to trust it in the past.
The only way the Galactic Federation would really directly interact with humans is by taking on a human incarnation.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, that is the reality of it. So, and there are those that have worked with the Galactic Federation and take on human incarnations so as not to interfere with the human experience and work on things from the inside.
And that's a big one. That's really huge.
It is. So everything else is, it's again distortion. This right here, somebody was saying these cylindrical objects are of Galactic Federation motherships. No, these, like this shape, this particular one's holding grays. These are usually what you're going to associate with the Draco.
That one doesn't feel good. Yes, those are like little grays, and those are draconian type energies that you're seeing.
Yeah, absolutely. So, there is some veracity to the cylindrical ships, but they're not the good guys. But this is their big plan. This is their last ditch effort, which we'll probably see, I would venture to guess, somewhere around that 2028 to 2030 period.
And isn't this beautiful? This little girl and this kitty and Mama Cat showing baby cat, and you can just see the love. I mean, that's how life should be. It should be symbiotic, not parasitic.
Absolutely. Look forward to your comments and questions. Let us know what else you want to cover along these lines. Source bless and namaste.
Namaste.